You know that feeling, right? You're in a conversation that just goes in circles, and by the end, you're not just tired, you're completely drained and confused. Well, today we're diving into a toolkit based on psychology for handling exactly those kinds of interactions. And the big idea here isn't about learning how to fight harder or win the argument. Nope. It's about learning how to play a different game entirely. Let's get into it.
Oof. Does this hit home? You've been pushed, and when you finally react, you're told you're too sensitive? It's a classic move that makes you question your own reality. And if you've ever felt that, then this is absolutely for you. This is our starting point. Okay, this is probably the single biggest mistake that empathetic people make. We walk into a difficult conversation assuming that deep down we both want the same thing, to connect, to understand each other. But what if that's not their goal? For a high conflict person, the goal is often something else entirely. It's control. So while you're playing chess, they're playing, well, a completely different game with different rules.
And that's the thing. You're playing the wrong game. And all your best moves, empathy, logic, trying to explain your side, they're not just failing, they're actually making things worse. Let's look at what the experts called this incredibly frustrating dynamic. It's called an asymmetrical conflict. One-sided, you're trying to build a bridge while they're trying to win a war. And here's the crucial takeaway. Every time you try to explain yourself, you think you're pouring water on the fire. But for them, your explanations are gasoline. You're not bringing clarity, you're bringing them fresh ammunition. So what do? We have to stop. We have to stop reacting and start being strategic. It means installing a whole new operating system for how we engage in these situations. And this new system, it's built on a foundation of just two powerful words: detachment and strategy. That's it. That's the new foundation. Detachment means you consciously decide to stop feeding the conflict your emotional energy. You cut off the supply. And strategy means you stop winging it in the heat of the moment and you start using a proven, repeatable system. This is the fundamental shift that changes everything. So let's talk about our first set of tools. They're all designed to do one thing: starve the conflict. See, high conflict people get a kind of reward from your emotional reaction. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to take that reward away. Completely. And that reward has a name. It's called supply. The best way to think about it is like Pavlov's dog. They ring the bell by pushing your buttons, and you give them the reward: your anger, your tears, that long multi-paragraph text trying to defend yourself. For them, that's the good stuff. It proves they can still get to you, that they have control. So how do you cut off that supply? You become a gray rock. Seriously. The gray rock method is a technique where you make yourself as boring and unresponsive as a literal rock. No drama, no emotion, nothing interesting. This is based on a behavioral principle called extinction. If you consistently stop rewarding a behavior, it eventually just fizzles out.
So what does this actually look like? Check this out. They throw out the bait. You are so dramatic. And your response? Okay. That's it. Or everyone agrees you're unstable. Your reply? I hear you. You're not agreeing, you're just acknowledging that you heard the sounds they made. See how these answers give them absolutely nothing to grab onto? You're not winning the argument, you're ending the game.
Now, this is super important. A huge warning. When you first start doing this, their behavior is probably going to get worse before it gets better. It's called an extinction burst. Think about a vending machine. If you put your money in and nothing comes out, you don't just walk away, do you? No, you press the button again, maybe you shake the machine. They're going to shake you hard to try and get that reaction they're used to. You have to be ready for it and hold the line. Okay, but let's be real. You can't always be a complete gray rock. What about at work, or if you're co-parenting? That's where the yellow rock method comes in. Think of it as gray rock with a thin, polite, professional wrapper. You're still emotionally disengaged, but you're focused on logistics and you keep it socially appropriate. And here is a perfect example of yellow rock in action. Look at that email they sent. It's full of bait and personal attacks. And the reply? It completely ignores the insults and focuses only on the necessary facts. This is brilliant because to anyone else, a boss, a lawyer, a judge, you look incredibly calm, reasonable, and professional. You're killing the drama while giving them nothing to feed on. But what about a family member? Someone you love, but who is still incredibly draining? Gray rock can feel too cold or harsh in those situations. So for them, try this visualization. Imagine a thick, clear glass wall between the two of you. You can see them, you can hear their words, but their frantic emotional energy, it just can't get through to you. It protects your system, and it also stops you from jumping in with your own reflex to try and fix them.
All right, so we've worked on managing our emotional energy. Now let's talk about the words we actually use. There are 4 major communication traps that almost all of us fall into, especially empathetic people. We need to install a firewall against them. And here it is. It's called the JAD trap. That stands for justify, argue, defend, and explain. You have to stop doing these 4 things. Remember what we said earlier? With a high conflict person, your perfectly logical explanation isn't a tool for clarity, it's ammunition. The second you start justifying or defending yourself, you've already lost because you've accepted their frame that you have something to defend. So if we don't JAD, what do? We use BIFF. This is an amazing protocol developed by the High Conflict Institute, and your response should be all 4 of these things: brief, informative, friendly, and firm. A BIFF response is designed to either be productive or to end the conversation. There's just no room left for drama. Let's break down what a BIFF response looks like. 1, it's brief. No long paragraphs. I am not discussing this over text. Done. 2, it's informative. It gives the necessary information and nothing more. If you have a logistical question, let me know. 3, it's friendly. Just simple pleasantries. A hi at the beginning, a thanks at the end. This is strategic, not emotional. And finally, 4, it's firm. That final thanks ends the conversation. It closes the door. Okay, last section, and honestly, this might be the most important one of all. You have to protect your own reality. The sneakiest, most damaging weapon in these conflicts is gaslighting. That slow, insidious process of making you doubt your own perceptions, your memory, even your sanity. So how do you fight back? You become a documentarian. After a confusing or upsetting interaction, take literally 60 seconds and write down the facts. I'm not talking about a diary of your feelings. I mean the cold, hard facts. The date, the time, and exactly what was said verbatim if you can. This log becomes your anchor to reality. So when they later say, I never said that, you don't have to argue. You can just look at your log and know your truth. And please listen to your body. Their words can be so convincing, right? I'm just trying to help you. But what does your body say? Is your chest tight? Is your stomach in knots? That's your nervous system picking up on a threat that your logical brain might be trying to talk you out of. When their words and what you feel in your body don't line up, you have to always trust what you feel. So when we put all of this together, we see that the real goal here was never to win the argument. You probably can't, and it's not worth the energy anyway. The real victory is reclaiming the mental and emotional real estate that this person has been occupying in your head. Every single one of these tools is a step towards that ultimate freedom. And so that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. Using these tools is a process. It's about taking your power back, one boundary, one conversation at a time. So let's make it real. What part of your reality, of your peace, will you decide to protect first?